Good evening and welcome to the February 3rd, 2026 meeting of the Milford Planning and Zoning Board. If we could please stand for the pledge and a moment of silence. Thank you. If you would please call the roll.
Mr. Agnesi?
Present.
Mr. Alling?
Present.
Mr. Anderson?
Present.
Mr. Furmender?
Present.
Mr. Collegian?
Present.
Mr. Machio?
Here.
Mr. Mortimer has been excused. Mr. Sadi?
Present.
Mr. Zaharides?
Present.
And Chairman Quish.
I'm also here. First order of business is executive session, Smart Life Homes LLC versus the Planning and Zoning Board of the City of Milford, Pond Point Avenue, 5-21 Pond Point Avenue. It's a discussion of pending litigation. And David, I would invite you as well as the city attorney, who I believe is here. Yep. Okay, we are in executive session. right, we're back in session, and thank you for your indulgence. Next order of business is 994 East Broadway, Zone R75, petition of Elijah Whitmore for a coastal area site plan review for a single-family dwelling on map 35, block 442, parcel 8A, of which Elijah Whitmore is the owner. Applicant has the floor. And if you would, state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Good evening. Elijah Whitmore, 994 East Broadway. I'm the owner. So we're proposing a home addition for our growing family. We have 4 young children, 6 and under, all girls. So we're just looking for an extra couple square foot to account for that. So all the plans are within the setbacks. The additional footprint would be approximately 170 square foot, so well within the 200 limit. Wetlands area should not be affected whatsoever. We're in fact going the opposite direction towards the front. The wetlands are in the back of the home. And yeah, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? David?
The applicant is proposing a second-floor addition with a minor rear addition to an existing house. The proposed improvements triggered the need for a camera view. The proposed height is 26 feet. The city engineer requires some clarifications for consistency with the CAM application, which can be made a condition of approval. No adverse impacts to coastal resources are anticipated. The project is zoning compliant.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board? Seeing none, I'd hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, regarding 994 East Broadway as Zone R75, I move to approve with the conditions I will elucidate in a moment. The petition of Elijah Whitmore for a coastal area site plan review for a single-family dwelling on map 035, block 442, parcel 8A, of which Elijah Whitmore is the owner. The condition will be the applicant shall update the plans to satisfaction of the city engineer in accordance with the January 2026 letter of Mr. Bidlusky and limited, including but not limited to recommendations A through G in that letter.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Agnesi?
With the motion.
Mr. Alling?
With the motion.
Mr. Anderson?
With the motion.
Mr. Furmender?
With the motion.
Mr. Collegian?
With the motion.
Mr. Machia?
With the motion.
Mr. Sadi?
With the motion.
Mr. Zaharides?
With the motion.
Chairman Quish?
I'm also with the motion. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Next order of business is a public hearing to close by March 10th, vote by May 14th. 1469 Boston Post Road, Zone CDD5, petition of Tim Hool, PE, for a special permit with coastal area site plan review for a new car dealership on map 100, block 805, parcel 15, of which EAE 1469 Boston Post Road, LLC, is the owner. Applicant has the floor.
Good evening, all. My name is Joe Porto. I practice law with Perrette Porto. Our office is located at 2319 Whitney Avenue in Hamden, and we represent the applicant with regard to the special permit site plan and CAM application. Just a few quick housekeeping matters. The property falls in a CDD5 zone located at 1469 Boston Post Road. You may either know or recall that there was a burned out building that was there. It has been raised and surface covered with asphalt. The proposal involves building a building to allow for used car sales with service. There will be a easement which will connect to two properties. There's an Acura dealership immediately contiguous, also under the Lawrenson umbrella, which this business will be as well. And there will be, there's a strip of property, a right-of-way along Rose's Mill Road, which we will landscape. It will be part of the landscape buffer. Tim Hool, the project engineer from BL Companies, will be able to go over that in some more detail. So we have received, thank you to Mr. Solkis and staff. He's been wonderful, extremely helpful. We've gone through this whole process. We've received sign-offs from, I believe, traffic, fire, sewer, engineering, and wetlands. So I'd like to have Mr. Hool come up, go over the project with you a little bit, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
So good evening. My name is Tim Hool, civil engineer and project manager with BL Companies. I am the engineer of record for this project, and our company address is 100 Constitution Plaza in Hartford. I'll briefly touch upon a couple of the existing condition items before resuming to the proposed site plan, which is up on the screen. As mentioned, the address of the parcel is 1469 Boston Post Road. The parcel is approximately 0.9 acres in size. There's frontage on both Boston Post Road and Rose's Mill, the front and back sides of the property respectively. The lot previously had a burned out building. It was demolished within the last few months. The remaining balance of the site was primarily paved. There's a little bit, but very minor amounts of green space on the site. The site does fall within coastal area management boundary. However, there are no real coastal resources of significance on the site. It's well away from, a lot of the primary coastal resources. And the existing building itself, the footprint was non-conforming with relation to setbacks. It was closer to the side and to the front lot lines than the current zoning regulations. Moving on to proposed, we do have the proposed plan up on the screen. So I guess the big item of note here, the proposed building is located to match the existing footprint of that existing building. So it's matching on pretty much all four sides. We made a couple minor tweaks to tighten it up a little bit, but it matches the outer extents on, I'll say, the 5 sides, because there's one angled wall there. The front setback for zoning is required as 50 feet. We match the 29 feet that the existing building had. The side requirement is 50 feet. On the west side, we match the existing, which was approximately 2 feet at the tightest. It does kind of taper just a little bit. To the rear, the requirement's 50 feet. We're matching the existing of 31 feet. Parking setbacks, we comply with the regulations on the front. The required is 6. We're actually proposing 11, so pulling that paving back a little bit. On the right-hand side, the eastern side, the requirement is 10 feet. We're proposing to match the existing condition of 4 feet on that side. And then on the rear, the requirement is 6 feet. We're proposing 7, so getting a little bit of extra green space there. The proposed building area is approximately 9,300 square feet. Roughly a quarter to a third of that will be dedicated towards office space to support the dealership function, the sales and business office piece. And then the remaining roughly 6,500 square feet or so will be dedicated to the service component of the building, with a total of 8 service bays expected. For proposed parking, we are required to have 39 spaces by the regulations. We are proposing 39 what we'll call more customer spaces. Those are the public spaces to service the business here between customers, employees, and that nature. That does include the required 2 ADA spaces as well. And then we are proposing an additional 19 spaces which are for car inventory. Those spaces are slightly undersized at 2 feet shorter in the stall length, but they're inventory spaces. I know I'm speaking on staff on this previously. We understand that is something that has been done before in town at other dealerships. The inventory spaces are slightly undersized in some cases. For other improvements on the site, This property has no street sidewalks on the front or rear side. Both properties on either side have sidewalks on both sides. We are proposing to connect that gap and fill that in both on the Boston Post Road side and Rose's Mill. So we are looking to fill in that gap. We are proposing a number of new utility connections. Pretty much everything coming in is going to be largely new services. A new ductile iron water service for domestic, a new fire, along with a new hydrant located at the new driveway upon the request of the fire department. A new 8-inch sanitary sewer service with oil water separator to provide treatment for floor drains expected inside the building. The new gas coming off of Boston Post Road. All those services, water, sewer, gas, and fire, are all coming off Boston Post. Electric and tel data will be new, coming off of the Rose's Mill side of the site in the southwest corner. For stormwater, we are proposing a comprehensive stormwater management system on site. There is no formal stormwater treatment today, so everything we're proposing is a significant improvement, but the proposed design does comply with the latest Connecticut stormwater management guidelines. The system consists of a series of catch basins in the parking lot, which will capture and provide an initial treatment before flowing through hydrodynamic separators for the bulk of the treatment, and then discharge to an underground infiltration system, which will provide storage and infiltration for the large volume of stormwater we expect on the site. In total, there were significant improvements in peak discharge rates for 4 out of the 5 points we analyzed. There's a reduction in excess of 50% of peak discharge, and the one that's lower than that is towards Boston Post Road, because we're adding the sidewalk. We were able to get a decrease there, but it's much smaller, in the order of magnitude of a few percent, because of that added sidewalk. But again, it's a net reduction for the site as a whole for stormwater discharge. We do also have a site lighting plan proposed. That was in the plan set. Maximum foot candles are roughly 4 on the site, so certainly not super bright, with very minimal to no spillage across property lines. Is around like 0.1 foot candles. And then finally, we do have a landscaping plan as well. The existing site is really devoid of vegetation. There's a couple of, some grass, maybe a couple of shrubs here or there, but for the most part, it's pretty bare. We are proposing a total of 14 large shade trees, 13 evergreens for some screening and variety, about 21 shrubs, and we did kind of sprinkle those around to try to spread them across the green strip across the frontage. There's some more green space and islands up in the northeast corner, and then we have more shrubs and trees along the Rose's Mill side, and some of the evergreens by the dumpster and transformer area to provide some screening from that Rose's Mill side. So in total, the proposed project includes redevelopment of what's currently a vacant lot that did experience a fire a number of years ago. The applicant is looking to redevelop that site and connect it with his existing operation next door at the Acura dealership. We are proposing a number of improvements with a reduction in impervious surfaces from existing, drastic improvements to stormwater management, connecting the sidewalks on both frontages. So I guess with that, I'd be happy to, I believe, go to Mr. Selkis for staff comments.
Yeah, if there's any questions at this point, we can go ahead and ask them, and then we'll go to David.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Hall. The document you have up there, I've looked at it a couple of times, but you consistently refer to the southernmost part and then the easternmost part, a 6-foot-high wall or barrier of wood. And you did tell us earlier that there is access to the property from Rose's Mill. I can't see how you're going to get in from Rose's Mill onto your property, because you got the barrier of either a wall or wood wall or a cement wall, and then it can almost 3/4 of the way up. Could you just explain that, please?
Yes, so we have frontage on both Rose's Mill and Boston Post Road. We are not proposing a driveway or legal access off of Rose's Mill. The only driveway connection will be off of Boston Post Road, and it's pretty much reusing the existing driveway that we have. We're reconstructing the curb lines, but it's the same location, the same size. We are also proposing a driveway connection up on the northeast corner between this parcel and the Acura dealership next door. That connection is proposed to allow for safe delivery of vehicles for the dealership. This parcel is too small for car carriers to pull into. Since the applicant owns both parcels, this one and the Acura dealership, the intent is that the car dealerships, the car carriers will pull into the Acura lot where they are able to safely access off the street. They can unload on that parcel, and then the cars can shuttle back and forth without having to go out onto the public right-of-way.
Thank you. I thought I heard you say Rose's Mill, but, so let's talk about the walkways. I have no problem with the one on the Boston Post Road, but again, similar to the question I asked you about the walls, do you have a plan and a sheet plan that would show us where the sidewalks would be located?
Yes, so it is a little hard to see here at the bottom, but that zigzag where the mouse is going now, that is the proposed sidewalk on the Rose's Mill side. It does zigzag a little bit closer to the curb line, but there is that grade change between this property and the street, so we are having that little bit of a zigzag for the elevation.
Fine, thank you. Again, we're trying to work with our data's not working well, but the last question I have for you, and it's kind of pertinent today, we wouldn't have asked this 3 or 4 years ago. Where are you going to put the snow? If we get 15 inches, where are you going to put it with the, appears to be lack of any place to put snow at all in that property?
Yes, it is a tighter property. We did provide a snow storage plan in the plan set. That's what's up on screen today. So there are a couple areas that we can provide some snow storage. In the south corner, there's very limited area. That hatched space in that southeast corner is primarily for delivery trucks or fire trucks for emergency access. So there might be a little bit of snow storage there, but the primary areas are going to be up more in the northeast corner of the site. Those darker shaded areas, there is some space there for storage for smaller storms. I would also like to note we do have those 19 inventory or display parking spaces. In larger storm events, some of those could be potentially used for snow storage or short-term storage, but certainly in large events like we just had, there would need to be snow potentially trucked off-site.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. David?
The applicant is proposing to construct a new auto dealership building of 9,500 square feet. The site is located in the CAM zone, but no coastal resources are found on or adjacent to the site. No adverse environmental impacts will occur. The city engineer has some recommended clarifications that can be made a condition of approval. The applicant will be executing an interconnecting driveway access agreement per section 5.17 of our zoning regulations with the Acura property that will be made a condition of approval. This is a redevelopment on the site of a previously fire-damaged, demolished building. The new building will be on the same footprint as the former building, so the new building setbacks can match what was previously located on the site. As proposed, with the recommended conditions, the project is zoning compliant.
Thank you. At this point, are there any questions for the board before we go to the public hearing? Before we go to the public hearing, are you done with what you want to say at this point?
Yes, we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak to the issue, please come to the podium. Seeing none, and without objection, the public comment will be closed. Any further questions from the board at this point? Seeing none, I'd hear a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
can you just make it clear that you have closed the public hearing?
In addition to the public comment, the
Yes.
public hearing is now closed.
Okay, thank you.
Without objection. Okay, no objection.
I move to approve with conditions the petition of Tim Hool PE for a special permit with coastal area site plan review for a new car dealership on map 100, block 805, parcel 15, of which EAE 1469 Boston Post Road LLC is the owner. Conditions being that the applicant comply with the city engineer's recommendations.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Chairman Quish?
Yep.
Thank you. Really appreciate the work you've done on this project. It's good to see that vacant property that was an eyesore is being used, and we wish you all good luck. I will be voting in favor of this motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
can you see if the board would add the condition of the interconnecting driveway?
Would you add that to your motion?
I'll add that to the motion.
And the second? A motion and second, both have agreed. Without further comment or question, if you would please call the vote.
Mr. Agnesi?
With the motion.
Mr. Alling?
With the motion.
Mr. Anderson?
With the motion.
Mr. Furmender?
With the motion.
Mr. Collegian?
With the motion.
Mr. Machia?
With the motion.
Mr. Sadi?
With the motion.
Mr. Zaharides?
With the motion.
Chairman Quish.
I'm also with the motion. Good luck with your project.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I did not say this earlier, but 25 8th Avenue has been postponed, so if anybody was here for that, they wasted some time. But next order of business is 990, 1040, and 1052 Boston Post Road, Zone IDC, petition of Luke Morrow, PE, for zone change from ICD to CDD1, a special permit with site plan review, and lot line adjustment for a shopping center development on map 77, block 832, parcel 1 and 2A, of which 990 Boston Post Road LLC and 1040 and 1052 Boston Post Road LLC are the owners. Applicant has the floor.
Would it be possible, I have some pretty pictures. Is it be possible to pull up a presentation?
I think
Yes, bring it here.
All right, thank you for the dog and pony show there. For the record, everyone, my name is Luke Morrow. I'm a professional engineer and professional traffic operations engineer, Solely Engineering. Our office is at 501 Main Street in Monroe, Connecticut, and I'm here tonight representing the applicants who are 990 Boston Post Road LLC and 1040 and 1052 Boston Post Road LLC. Two separate entities, but it's the same owner, basically Key Hyundai Group. And we're here tonight for a proposed application for zone change a lot line revision, and a special permit application for the commercial development at 990 through 1052 Boston Post Road. So just to get everybody oriented with the existing conditions, the site itself is located on the north side of Boston Post Road, planned south over here. It's in the commercial corridor. It's located between I-95. It's the exit 39A southbound ramp on the north side of the screen, and then also between Forest Road, which is on the left side of the screen there. It's bound by residential uses, condo association to the top, I-95 to the east, Boston Post Road and the Athenian Diner to the south, and then Forest Road to the west. Currently, it's developed with the Genesis car dealership. You can see the large paved area over here, and then the former Hooters development, which has been vacant for some time in the southwest corner. There's currently four curb cuts that service the existing property, a right-in, right-out driveway over here for direct access to Genesis. There's a full movement driveway in the middle, the former full movement unsignalized driveway associated with the Hooters development here, and then also a side street access to Forest Road with access to the signal. There's also no wetlands and no floodplain located on the property. Okay, so the zone change map you see before you, it's here to, essentially we're rezoning the property from the Interchange Commercial District, the ICD, to the Corridor Design Development District 1 Community Design, which is the CDD1. And essentially, the uses that are proposed and existing on the property, the dealership, grocery store, and then a strip retail use, they are both allowed in both of those zones, the existing and the proposed zone. However, the zone change to the CDD1 zone allows a reduction in the side and rear yard setbacks from a 50-foot requirement down to essentially 0, but if you're going to provide a setback, it needs to be 4 feet. And the reason we're proposing this zone change is we're looking to form 2 separate legal parcels for the purposes of financing with the bank and such. The Genesis is already developed, as you know, so they're trying to separate the funding between those pieces to try to make it easier for construction loans and whatsoever. So in order to make a complying lot, we needed to do the zone change and do a lot line revision for that to occur. But however, in terms of the setbacks, it does conform to the bulk requirements for both zones for what it's worth. That would be for lot area, the lot width, the lot depth, the front yard setback, building heights, building coverage, and the FAR. So the real reason for the zone change is to take advantage of the reduction in the side yard setback for the interior lot line. Just proof that we posted the zone change signs as required. We also mailed out the abutters notifications to abutters within 500 feet, and we did file the applicable maps in the clerk's office per the zoning regulations. So now to the the lot line revision portion of the application. So the proposed lot line, and I'll try to depict this as easily as I can. The existing lot line, if you can see where my mouse is here, kind of the grayed out area. So this is the existing line that separates 990 on the west to 1040 and 1052 on the east side. We're just proposing to relocate that. It's about 200 feet to the east on the top, and then you can see it kind of bows out here, and it's about 400 feet or so on the bottom over here. So, and again, the reasoning for the lot line relocation is so that the Genesis can function as its own separate parcel, and then the grocer and the strip retail would also function as their own separate parcel as well. And this would result in a compliant lot in terms of bulk setbacks, parking setbacks, and landscaping setbacks as well. Okay. So for our overall site plan, the project consists of, I have a zoomed in one for the audience too. It consists of the construction of an 11,400 square foot strip retail building, which is on the bottom left side here. That's going to be, we envision it as a mix of probably 3 tenants, a restaurant, and 2 retail tenants. That'll replace the former Hooters building in the southwest corner. And then a standalone 26,181 square foot grocery building. That'll be in the existing gravel parking lot, which used to be the old Howard Johnson's, if everyone's familiar with the property. So that the grocer will sit between the strip retail proposed on the west and then the Genesis that's located on the east side. And again, the site is in conformance with all bulk zoning and parking requirements. It's just a little bit easier to see, I think, with color here. In terms of site access, and again, to orient everybody, this is the grocer in the middle here, and then the strip retail building on the left side. So in terms of site access, the existing right-in, right-out driveway associated with the Genesis dealership will remain as is. The existing full movement driveway that kind of splits the difference between these, runs along the property line as it exists now. That'll remain as well. You can see it's covered up, but there was an existing curb cut here associated with the Hooters. That's going to be removed for traffic safety reasons to kind of consolidate access and improve movements along Boston Post Road. And then the site access along Forest Road will be relocated about 40 feet to the north. And the reason is just so we can run a straight drive aisle behind the building over here. So all 3, we'll call them building pads, the strip building, the grocer, and the Genesis will all have interconnectivity between them. There's a connection point over here between the grocer and the Genesis. You can see there's a connection here throughout the middle of the property, so everyone will have access to the traffic signal that's located at the intersection of Forest Road and Boston Post Road. Each of the pads will have its own screened-in dumpster enclosure. You can see 4 dumpsters over here, top left corner for the strip building, and then there's a dumpster enclosure as well with some grease waste receptacles and other recyclables over here for the grocery tenant. Just for what it's worth, and it's a little bit difficult to tell here, it might be a little bit easier for my black and white site plan. The existing, the limits of the existing parking lot of the Hooters facility that's adjacent to the residential to our north is about 10 feet off the property line right now. There is a screen fence and there are some large evergreens that are screening that. But as a matter of our proposed redevelopment, we're going to be relocating that parking lot 25 feet further south, further away from the residences that do abut us to the north. In addition to that, the parking lot is fairly high. Grades go up to about elevation 52 or so. We're going to be lowering the whole parking lot between 3 to 10 feet below grade there. So not only are we going to tripling that buffer, we're also going to be lowering the parking lot so it's sitting a good 15 to 20 feet lower. There'll be some walls with also a screen fence on top of the wall as well. And I do have a picture of the buffer as it exists today, and I'll show you, but that's going to remain as well as part of the redevelopment. The area shown here, exclusive of the Genesis dealership, requires 151 parking spaces per code, and we're proposing a total of 193 parking spaces, mostly because the tenant has their own requirements we need to fulfill in terms of getting lease negotiations. But it does meet the requirement for the total number of ADA accessible spaces, and there's also 20 EV-ready parking spaces, which is 10% of the total required by state code. We did submit a truck turning template. This is a view of the full-size tractor trailers entering the site. You can see they can come in safely off of Boston Post Road, proceed to the rear into the loading docks behind the building, and then they can proceed out through the access on Forest Road for the signal. They would also be able to exit via the driveway in the middle, but we figured likely they'd be using that signalized access that's over there. We also submitted a fire truck turning template to the fire marshal for review as part of his response to the comments, and he did give us some fire lane signage striping and some circulation comments, but we were able to address that, and I believe we received a sign-off letter on January 13th from the fire marshal. Okay, in terms of the grading and drainage, it was designed in compliance with local regulations, along with the 2024 Connecticut Stormwater Quality Manual, and also the 2004 Connecticut DOT Drainage Manual. We always design our projects to mimic existing drainage conditions as best as we can. So generally speaking, runoff from all the impervious surfaces, that would be building roofs and the parking lots, will be collected by a series of catch basins and drainage pipes. All that runoff will be treated by hydrodynamic separators before flowing to one of 3 new underground detention systems before it outlets from the site. So more specifically, the west side of the development here, which is where the strip retail building will be located, everything will be collected. There is a hydrodynamic separator right over here, flows to, if you could see this little grid, series of underground detention chambers that'll reduce the amount of runoff leaving the site, and ultimately will connect into the system at the southwest corner of the property in Forest Road. And then for the larger portion, the grocer, you could see 2 larger underground detention systems, one over here in front of the store, one over here on the side of the store. There's also a large one that was constructed under the parking lot. So there's going to be 3 underground detention systems that'll be collecting the runoff from the grocer portion of the project, attenuating treating the water, attenuating the flows, and ultimately that flows off-site to Genesis and then to a drainage ditch along the highway. In terms of water quality measures, all the catch basins are fitted with deep sumps, hooded outlets, so that floatables, trash debris get captured in the catch basin itself, and then larger particles and sand and stuff like that will settle to the bottom, ultimately trying to stop that from getting further downstream, clogging any of the drainage system downstream and causing undue pollution. We did design our treatment measures to treat 100% of the water quality volume, which is required per the latest Connecticut Stormwater Quality Manual. And overall, will be a net reduction in flows in the post-construction compared to pre-development conditions. Okay, just quickly, we did propose a 2-phase soil erosion and sediment control plan based on the latest guidance from the 2024 Connecticut Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sediment Control. This first phase, you can see the areas kind of hatched here. This is demolition of the existing parking and building facilities. There's a construction entrance proposed for construction-related traffic. There are stockpile areas, inlet protection proposed for the existing catch basins and ultimately the proposed catch basins as well, so that soils don't migrate into the system and off-site. And there'll be silt fence installed on the low areas of the excavation, again, so no soil migrates off the property. And then quickly, here is phase 2 of the soil erosion sediment control plan, which is essentially full site design work and then building construction as well. Okay, utility plans. The site is serviced by public utilities under existing conditions. There will be separate services for water, sewer, gas, electric, and telecom for each of the buildings. The grocer itself, we envision it to all be served from connection points either on site or right in the road, Boston Post Road. And then for the strip retail building, there's a number of connections already on site, so we're going to try to use those to the greatest extent we can, but those will connect on Forest Road. We did receive an approval letter for our sewer flows from the Sewer Commission on December 17th, 2025. And I should note, there is a bakery deli use associated with the grocer. That'll flow through a grease trap to collect any grease before it gets into the sewer system further downstream. And then also, the restaurant will also have its own separate 2,000-gallon grease trap for grease waste before combining with the on-site domestic sewer line. In terms of landscaping, we did propose a detailed landscaping plan. The goal is drought-resistant plantings to the greatest extent practical. 80% of the trees are native species, but there are no invasive species proposed, obviously, as part of our landscaping plan. The plan does comply with the regulations in terms of the number of plants required, the internal square footage of landscaping that's required, and also buffer strips that are required along the side and rear property lines. Some of the steeper slopes we're grading out, we have a specialized erosion sediment control mix to kind of stabilize those areas, and then the remaining vegetated areas will be. So this is the buffer in question that is to remain, and I'll try to help everybody visualize as best as I can. So this is the rear of the existing Hooters parking lot. You can see the approximate limits of pavement over here where my mouse is, and I'm going to guesstimate we're going to be moving this limit of pavement about 25 feet to the south, so somewhere in the middle of the existing drive aisle back here. And then you could see coming from the forefront of the page to the rear, you could see this drive aisle gets higher by about 10 feet as you travel east into the page, but this will all be reduced to be significantly lower than the condos located behind us. So there should be some, the building and site itself should be naturally screened based on the grading plan and all those vegetated plantings, and the existing screen fence will also remain as part of the project. In terms of lighting, we design all our sites with energy efficient LED site lighting fixtures, dark sky compliant. All the fixtures are recessed. The LEDs are recessed up into the fixture, help reduce glare and making sure that there's no light spillover over the property line. These poles are, I think, about 18 feet high, but for what it's worth, because the parking lot is set so far below the residents to the north of us, most likely the top of those poles are going to be at or below eye level elevation as compared to the residences above us. Quickly, I'll go over traffic. We did study the 6 intersections shown in green. Intersection of the site driveways on Forest Road and the site driveways on Boston Post Road, and then also the 3 signalized intersections of Boston Post Road at Forest Road, and then Boston Post Road at Cherry Street, and then Boston Post Road at the 95 off-ramp and Homeacres Avenue. We did the counts in April 2025. School was in session. We projected those to the 2027 build year. We believe, if all goes well, the project should be open sometime next year. So we applied a 2% growth rate for natural increase in traffic along the corridor. And we have prepared a trip generation summary as part of our traffic study. So in total, during the weekday evening peak hour, we expect about 310 new trips to the development. That's not 310 in and 310 out. That's 155 in and 155 out. This is based on the ITE manual. And then on the Saturday, a little bit larger than that, about 330 total trips in the 1 peak hour, about 168 in and 166 out. We did run a capacity analysis for the existing, the no build, and the build conditions. Essentially, overall, the intersections are going to maintain acceptable levels of service. Generally, any increasing delay is kind of within 3 seconds or so, give or take, so not a very measurable impact in terms of the levels of service or delay at the intersections. In terms of car queues, most of the intersection approaches will only experience an increase in car queues of 1 to 2 vehicles. There might be one location where there might be an increase in 3 vehicle lengths or so. The traffic study was reviewed and approved by the Police Commission, I believe on November 3rd, if my dates are correct. We did have to submit to OSTA, the Office of State Traffic Administration, because this development does have over 200 parking spaces. So OSTA review is ongoing. They did complete the drainage portion of the review, but they're still looking at the traffic portion of the review. But ultimately, because Route 1 is under state jurisdiction, they're going to tell us if we need to change anything, if any mitigation is required, or they want to see any change to the, the geometric layout or anything to that. And subsequent to OSTA review, any physical work in the right-of-way requires an encroachment permit from the DOT District 3 office as well. Just quickly, in terms of intersection site distance, here's a plan showing the required site distances along Forest Road. Essentially, the driveway is in a similar location, but there is adequate site distance for the driveway along Forest Road. And also, it's an existing condition, but for what it's worth, the site frontage along Boston Post Road is clear, and the site distances are all contained basically within the pavement. So no issues with the site distances, but again, they've been reviewed by the Police Commission, and they'll also be reviewed by OSTA as part of their review. Really quick, and I'm not an architect by any means, so bear with me, but just the proposed floor plan for the strip retail building. We envision it to be split into 3 tenants, a larger retail tenant on the left, smaller retail tenant in the middle, and then a small restaurant with outdoor seating on the right-hand side. No drive-through is proposed as part of the application. Just a view of what the facades, we envision the facades to look like. Light color palette, mostly whites, light grays, a lot of windows along the front for natural light, but no windows or anything on the rear abutting what would be facing the residential, so there shouldn't be any light emanating from the building towards the residential development located behind us. And we also have a matching color scheme for our dumpster enclosures as well, shown on the bottom here. Mr. Sulkus did have some initial comments about the materials to be used. You'd like to see more natural materials per your regs, so we've gone and we've updated the renderings. So what you see here are the updated renderings. A lot of brick, veneer, fiber cement, lap siding. There's some metal siding over here on the west side, the east facade of the building, along where the proposed restaurant is located. And then, just quickly, floor plan for the proposed grocer. Again, 26,181 square feet. That's a single-story building. There is a small indoor over here, an outdoor seating area. They have a little cafe, and we believe they'll have a cafe with some offerings. There'll be protection bollards in front of the store. You can see all these little dots down here. So there'll be vehicular protection for the front of the store. And then the color scheme, another, light gray, beige kind of color scheme along the sides and the rear of the building, and then the front of the building, a kind of a green logo facade, if you will. But again, a lot of windows to let a lot of natural light in along the front, but no windows proposed along the sides of the rear to prevent any light trespass, to the neighbors to our north. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know it threw a lot at everybody, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. That was a very thorough and interesting presentation. Thank you for that. Mr. Anderson.
Good evening, Mr. Morrow.
Yes.
You answered a question I was going to ask you about the outdoor patio. I was wondering what that structure was on the east side of the retail. For the grocer, how many bays will service the grocery store?
Just one truck, in terms of a truck well?
So the truck is backing into the
Yes,
space?
correct. Yep,
Okay.
75 foot wide, and it's got a wall the whole length. Yep. And it is, for what it's worth, it's set, there's a cliff that's about 25 to 30 feet high behind us, so it's set a good 30 to 40 feet lower than the residential. That's
There is a
located
buffer
above us.
there.
There's a buffer, yep.
Right. I am familiar with the site.
Okay.
Could you, maybe I missed this, could you detail the landscaping plan?
Sure. Okay, so I am not a landscape architect by trade, but I can give you, at high level, we proposed about 80% native tree species. So there's a mix of red maples, junipers, sweet gums, tupelos, pin oaks, and then I'm not sure what little leaf linden is, but those are spread throughout the perimeter of the parking lot, meeting the street tree requirements, and then also the interior landscaping requirements. And then in terms of shrubs, there's a mix of rhododendrons, azalea bushes, and some dogwoods. And then a lot of, small perennial ground covers and grasses and stuff to that effect. Was there any specific comment or thought on species, I guess is?
Well, no.
Okay.
But native plants is something that is always looked upon favorably, but no.
Okay.
I like roadies myself. And then I think having good relations with the neighbors is always important.
Sure.
There are a substantial number of senior residences to the rear, as you're probably aware. During the time of demolition of the Howard Johnsons and the adjoining properties, there was quite a bit of dust that was emanating from the dust piles, and we had to, as a city, call in deep to come and mitigate the problems that were presented. So I wonder, during the time of construction, whether you intend to have, or the applicant intends to have a point person.
Yes, so he probably doesn't want me to say this, but right now, Mr. Merriam is the point person. Jeff, so he's obviously local, and it is his project. In the event of an emergency, there is someone located at the Genesis dealership and Key Hyundai, but there will be a site super. New England Construction likely is going to be doing the construction. They're out of Rhode Island, but they'll be on site, full time with a construction trailer as well, making sure. We do have a maintenance log, and I believe there's recommendations for watering, like a water sprayer, so that for dust control, erosion control, making sure there's no tracking, into the right of way and stuff like that. But if that does alleviate some of the fears, there will be someone on site and nearby.
Thank you for that,
Yes.
Mr. Morrow. And how long would construction take? Is it phased or?
Ultimately, we would prefer that it not be phased. It's going to be a matter of getting leases, leases signed. Right now, it sounds like they're itching to try to start construction in spring, April, May, if they could, do the majority of the site work. And then site work would probably take us through late fall, early winter would be the goal to get it done, and then building construction can go through the winter, and that, not my specialty, but I would imagine building construction is probably 6 to 9 months. So, we hope for an opening probably mid-2027 for some, or if not all of the development. That would be the goal.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Sadi?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Morrow. Again,
evening.
very wonderful and precise presentation.
Thank you.
However, precision is important because we have three matters before us. So 990 Boston Post Road, I think you colloquially have used the term as the Hooters property, correct?
Say again?
990 Boston Post Road is colloquially known as the Hooters property.
It is, correct,
enough.
yes.
And what you're seeking on your applications, a lot of documents here, you're seeking a special permit with a site plan only for 990.
It should be for both properties.
Well, we haven't gotten to the other properties yet. So 990 is Hooters, you're looking for a special permit for a site plan.
And for zone change and for a lot line revision.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute then. So you're saying that 990 zone change is because it's in ICD at the present time?
It's in ICD. All three properties, or all two properties, are located in the ICD. We're
Okay.
proposing to change it's about 10 acres in total for the two properties. We're proposing, and let me pull the map up. So the zone change would be the whole area highlighted, and I might be able to zoom in a little bit here. Sorry. So the zone change would apply to both properties in whole.
Okay, well, we got three properties listed. 1040 is the Howard Johnson's property.
It's technically one property known as 1040 and 1052.
Okay, that's
So
what's confusing to us because we dealt with the Genesis property. That is still an ICD zone, is that correct?
We're proposing to change the zone for the
I'm not
Genesis.
asking what you're proposing. It presently is an ICD.
That is correct.
Okay, why do you need the change for the Genesis property? Because it's already been developed.
In order to allow for the lot split of the zones in terms of bank funding, there's a certain building and landscaping setback requirement which we cannot meet without a zone change. Essentially, without the zone change, the project isn't viable because we need a reduction in the side yard setback.
Okay, and then the last question I have on this is the lot line adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that apply to all three of the parcels or only 1040 and 1052?
It applies to I guess it's two. So this is 990, this square on the left side. Everything from, if you could trace my mouse, all the way over and then all the way up to the back, that's one property known as 1040 and 1052, Boston Post Road. So we would be relocating the existing property line so that 1052 is its own separate property, and then 990 and 1040 would be their own separate property. Sorry,
But the
you
lot
can
line-
imagine it was confusing to me too from the start, so
It appears the lot line adjustment you're seeking is between 1040 and 1052?
that's correct.
Okay. I have
Yes.
no further questions at this point, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Thank you.
sorry for the confusion there.
Thank you. Any questions before we go to David and then to open the public hearing? David?
The applicant is proposing to develop a shopping plaza consisting of a grocery store, restaurant, and retail space on the site of the former Hooters restaurant and an undeveloped portion of a property associated with the Genesis car dealership. The application consists of three parts. First, a proposed zone change from ICD to CDD1. The change allows for more advantageous setbacks, which improves site plan configurations. Second, a lot line adjustment is proposed to allow for a better site plan layout and lot configuration where the proposed shopping plaza and Genesis dealer meet. The configuration keeps both lots zoning compliant. The third application is for the special permit under 3.16.2.14 for the development of the shopping center and restaurant use. 151 parking spaces are required, with the applicant providing 193, including 20 EV charging spots. The project as proposed is zoning compliant.
Thank you. Good, Mr. Sadi?
Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Sulkus. In your first page of the administrative summary form, you refer to the CDD1 and the language you use that allows for more advantageous setbacks, which improves site plan configurations. How does that make any difference to a property that's already been developed and we approved some time ago?
It makes all the difference because you don't want to render something that's existing non-conforming.
Well, how is the property non-conforming if we allowed it to be developed?
Well, if you allow this to be developed,
No, I'm talking about when we did 1052
Yeah,
some time ago.
Yeah.
We approved that.
yes,
And you, at that point, I believe, indicated it was conforming.
yes.
So
Yeah.
why are we going to change this
Because-
for a conforming lot to make it
Because,
not?
because that is not, that lot is not remaining as it is. For this project to move forward, there's a lot line adjustment that has to be made that is reconfiguring that lot that you previously approved. And in the reconfiguration of that lot that was previously approved, it's being reconfigured to the standard of the CDD1, which is the only way that the applicant can develop the project. They can't develop it without the lot line adjustment, and they can't develop it without the zone change because of how that lot line is placed.
Thank you. And then through you, Mr. Chair, if a motion is made regarding the Hooters property, which is the site plan, the requirement of number of votes for that would be what, please? Majority of the members sitting at the board meeting today?
Correct. It's a simple majority.
And our discretion is allowed to be existent at that point, or we have to grant if it's conforming or not?
Okay, so for the zone change, you need 6 members of your full board to vote on it. So it's not a simple majority, it's 6 members of the full board. Your discretion is total when it comes to a zone change. You can approve it, you can deny it, you don't even have to give a reason, but that's your prerogative. The lot line adjustment, typically there's never an issue with lot line adjustments as long as the lots that are created and don't, create any, the adjustment doesn't create any nonconformities for the existing lots. And then the special permit, again, similar to a site plan, special permits is if it meets the regulations, you have to basically approve it. The difference with a special permit is there may be some conditions that the regulations allow you to tag on, but as long as it's zoning compliant, it's all approvable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Sulkus.
Thank you. Any further questions before we open it to the public? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak to the issue, please come to the podium. State your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Richard Bryant. I live in back in the condominiums, the senior condominiums. My primary concern, I like the site plan, I like the appearance, looks peachy. The traffic on Forest Road is horrendous. It's a bottleneck of, what's the best word? It's like 2 people coming at each other, one coming out of by CVS and the other coming Forest. It's a disaster every morning. It's like playing chicken to cross it. People, it is not a designated lane for left or right. As far as the trucks entering and exiting, to enter and exit on Forest would be an absolute disaster. You'll be backing up, you can only get 2 cars alongside Hooters to the traffic light. Then you've got Locust coming in. They're trying to turn left to go on Locust. People coming down are trying to get to the traffic light before it turns red again. They shouldn't be allowed to enter and exit through there. The rest of the project looks great. Would there be any additional blasting that has to be done? That's one of our primary concerns after the last episode. The other thing that we were really concerned about, the gentleman covered everything adequately. It's the entering and exit on Forest that either it should be closed up or it should be really thought out a lot better. It's not planned well. We live there. I've been doing this for 8 years going in and out of there. It gets worse all the time. There's more volume. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening. Charles Montalbano, 30 Revere Place, Milford, Connecticut. I may have missed it on the drawing, but Genesis had 3 or 4 charge point charging stations along the line where I thought maybe they were changing it, and I didn't see them anymore. So I don't know. You know, it was nice because you could plug your car in and go have a coffee at the Athenian while you were getting charged. So I just wondering if those are staying or being moved. The other thing is those beautiful flat roofs of the buildings. They seem perfect for some solar. So I'm hoping maybe the builders will consider adding solar panels to the construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from the board? I mean, from the public? So the applicant, if you would, you have an opportunity to address the questions. I would say one would be truck traffic on Forest Road. If that can be mitigated, that would, I think, be a good public relations effort.
I'm actually going to take the easy one first, if that's okay. There are, let me see if I can get, if you can see these little, it's a little blurry. There's little rectangular areas over here. Those are the 3 or 4 EV chargers that were mentioned. Those will remain as part of the development on the Genesis parcel. There are, it's a little bit too blurry here, but hold on, I think I have a clearer version. So these are the existing chargers here. We are going to be, although not depicted here, likely we're going to be putting some EV chargers also along this strip here to be able to feed off of they're level 3 chargers, so the amount of draw they need requires its own transformer. There, as I understand it from talking with Jeff Merriam, there's additional capacity, so we're going to try to put some higher speed level 3 chargers, which I believe you can get a full charge in like a half an hour, something like that. As you can imagine, they're expensive. UI needs to have the infrastructure in place to also support that. I got an email today. They're trying to help us coordinate to see what the loads might be. So while not set in stone, the goal is to try to get some more EV fast chargers on the adjacent, the opposite side of that landscaping island. And then also, there would be some EV parking spaces located along this side of the building and the rear of the building at the strip retail as well. So that should answer that. In terms of solar panels, unfortunately not my decision, but I can certainly bring that recommendation back and see if it's something that would be viable. I'm not sure if the roof is already supported for those type of loads, but it's certainly something we can consider, and I can have a conversation with the landlord and the contractor about that. In terms of the traffic on, in terms of the traffic that's located along Forest Road. So with the full movement curb cut on Boston Post Road, there is the ability for cars using Genesis and the grocer and the strip retail to have immediate access to Boston Post Road. One of the reasons why we're proposing to maintain it in that configuration so that we don't have to force everybody out to Forest Road. As a matter of the delivery vehicles for Genesis coming in and out, you're probably all aware this is a right-in, right-out driveway. So in order for them to get back to the highway, they need to loop around and make the left turn out here as well. So as a matter of Genesis having their truck delivery vehicles, their haulers come in, that's the reason why we're proposing to leave that full movement access there. And then also, for busier times, a connection over here proposed generally, it's a little bit further north than it was. I think about 40 feet further north than it was in the existing condition. For busier times where it may be difficult to find a gap on Boston Post Road, there's the ability to get out to the signal and take the left. What I can say is, based on the traffic analysis, there's no required mitigation that would be needed, as in adding turning lanes or restriping or widening, but through the process with OSTA, we can certainly ask if there's an ability to modify those signal timings to try to give some additional green to both Locust and Forest and try to get more throughput of vehicles. That's ultimately, again, not up to me, would be up to the DOT, but generally speaking, if we're offering to try to help fix an existing situation, more often than not, DOT will try to work with us to do that, so that's something I could commit to, but again, because that signal is owned and operated and maintained by DOT, they have the final say, but it's certainly something we can bring to their attention and see if we can try to extend the green time for people coming off of Forest Road.
Could you commit to site policy and signage, no trucks out, tractor trailer type trucks out onto Forest Road?
We can put signage in, with the caveat that this is still, it has to be the curb cuts, and they're existing, so they shouldn't change. But they ultimately have to be reviewed and approved by DOT again, because we're adding square footage. So long as that curb cut remains as is, we can certainly commit to that.
You will have another, we can't really have a discussion back and forth, but you will be able to get up to the podium again? Yeah. Okay.
And I know there was a question about blasting. There will likely need to be a little bit of blasting that's done because there's no connection point between the two pads right now. We're gonna have to blast out probably it's probably 10 to 15 feet of material for in this area here just to make that connection work. But we're trying not to blast any more than we need to because of the cost associated with it. They're going to try to rip it with equipment as best as they can, but for full transparency, there'll likely be some blasting. We'll have to put a blasting plan together, submit it to building department for review. And any state requirements or local requirements we'll obviously comply with.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Through you to the applicant. The material that would be blasted would be then removed from the site, or would you propose having it processed on the site?
Likely, we'll probably be able to use a lot of the material on the site because we are raising the grades in the rear by 2 or 3 feet. So most likely, we'd probably be processing it and then reusing it on site and trying to avoid removing it from the site as much as practical.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be, listen, I grew up in East Haven. I know the area well. I know that was a quarry for years. The intent wouldn't be years and years and years. I mean, the intent, I think, for the blasting would be over a couple months. It shouldn't be an extended period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Jim, did you say that the car carriers from Genesis are going to use this entrance and end?
No. They come in. They come in through the right-in driveway over here, and they actually, and I've been told, if they're going to proceed west on Route 1, they can come out the right-out driveway. But if they want to proceed east back to the highway, they loop around and they come out. That's why this is an abnormally wide driveway. We wouldn't normally propose a driveway this wide, but the reason it is that wide is so that the truck can make the loop around and back out.
So even though you're creating a whole new property, Genesis is still going to use this property?
There would be interconnectivity, yes. I would imagine, I mean, I don't know how often they get car deliveries. It might be, I believe, once or twice a week, something to that
I don't
effect.
think anybody can determine that, but
The reasoning is, if not, they'd be forced to take a right out, and they wouldn't be able to get back to the highway. Because it's divided, there's a dividing island over here.
they can keep going that way and get on the highway at the next exit up.
They could.
And I think that's what this gentleman's concern is about the Forest Road exit.
So if I think the interconnectivity between the developments is a crucial part of, based on, planning, but also feedback provided by, the developer itself. So we can certainly commit to putting signage up to try to force trucks out that driveway and avoid Forest Road to the best extent we can.
Okay, thank you. The public will have a chance to rebut your last statements, and you will get the last word.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna come up Forest Road with a tractor trailer, 40-foot box, okay? You're gonna turn right, or you're gonna decide you're gonna back in. Forest Road's completely blocked. They're gonna back from the left all the way over to the loading dock. Beep, 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 beep. That's all we're gonna listen to. It makes no sense to put a 40-foot box on Forest Road. The 40-foot box will take up to the traffic light from Locust. How do you control traffic like that? And the sight line on Forest is horrendous. If you're going up Forest, you can't see the driveway for Forest Park condominiums. Coming out, you can't see down. The sight lines are terrible. A 40-foot box on any kind of tractor trailer is a disaster. And backing something like that up, he better be damn good, from what I've seen.
No, thank you.
Just so it's clear, we're not anticipating that trucks will be coming in off of Forest Road. Let me go back to my presentation.
The best land's nice cement
So the site's designed so that a full-size tractor trailer can make a turn in off of Boston Post Road. Yeah, but not. The intent is for them to not enter off of Forest Road, because this is too tight of a radius for them to make a right turn in. They wouldn't be able to do it. That's why this receiving lane throw is so wide. It's like 20 feet wide down here, because the only way they'd be able to get into the site for a full-size truck is to take the right in, back into the loading dock, and then proceed. We're showing the exit to the Forest Road light, obviously, but there's no reason they couldn't also come down and take a left and leave via left turn onto Boston Post Road as well. That's just how we happen to show the truck turning movements.
Thank you.
Just a question. What are you doing? What are they doing now?
What's that?
What are the trucks doing now?
The trucks for Genesis, because that's the only thing that's operational.
Right.
They're taking a right in over here, and as I understand it, if they leave to go back to the highway, they come back through and they take the left turn and come back out towards the highway. That's why this is such a wide exit and entrance driveway. If they're going to proceed westbound on Boston Post Road, then they can simply come through the right turnout. The only way for them to get back to the highway is to come out this exit because there's a physical barrier. There's that triangular island where Cherry Street hits, and there's no way the DOT is going to allow any change to the geometric there. So, any closure or of the, cutting off the driveway between the two parcels wouldn't allow them to be able to get back to the highway. I mean, and as far as the distance goes, I mean, this truck represents about 75 feet of length, so the queue from the stop bar at Forest Road to the driveway itself is about 200 feet. And I realize there's a side street that's cutting in here, but there is a little bit of additional stacking distance provided. We normally carry 25 feet per car. Realistically, it's like 20 feet per car. So there is queuing from the stop bar up to this driveway of about 8 to 10 vehicles. During the busier periods, I'll agree. You may need to stop and wait for, a gap to get out there, but during the off-peak times, I don't anticipate there being a problem. But again, if the board sees fit, and so long as DOT allows the full movement of Boston Post Road to occur here, we can certainly put up signage to direct trucks out so they don't take Forest Road and try to at least take that burden off.
Thank you.
Would you be proposing then possibly another traffic light at that secondary intersection?
The state won't allow it because it's too close to the intersection of Forest Road. Generally speaking, you need about 500 feet between for continuity of a green band, if you want to call it, for continuity of traffic flow on the main line. So it's just too close. I imagine if they were to allow it, they probably would have approved it as part. I think there was a hotel originally approved here. I think they probably would have approved it back at that point in time. So we could certainly ask, but I can tell you the answer is going to be no.
I mean, obviously the tractor trailers, they don't get up and go, like a car would.
Yep.
And so they're going to need a light because that Boston Post Road, 4 lanes,
Sure.
both directions, it's going to be tough to make that left-hand turn.
So they are doing it today. They're doing it today from the Genesis dealership. They are making left turns out. They're probably doing their deliveries early in the morning, I would assume, before there's traffic. I would assume, I shouldn't, but I would assume, knowing how efficient delivery drivers want to be, they're probably going to try to deliver during off-peak times, probably not on the midday on a Saturday, not during rush hour at night. So, they're going to have to, work their schedule so they can figure out how to get out, and during those busier times. But to answer your question, they are making that left turn out now because there is no connectivity. There's no way for vehicles from Genesis to get to Forest Road right now. They have to take that left out onto Boston Post Road, and they are finding the gaps to do so.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Is it possible to close off the Forest Road curb cut altogether?
I don't think that would be viable. In terms of busier times when the need to take the left turn out is impacted by the number of cars on Boston Post Road, that's going to be the safest option. I understand there's a balancing act trying to stop as much as we can cars and trucks from getting to Forest Road, but ultimately it is the safest means of egress from the site by providing that traffic light there. And I'm not going to be able to get a traffic light at the existing site driveway. So.
And are there any other ways to, are there any other ways to close off the Forest Road curb cut altogether? I mean, is it possible to close off the Forest Road curb cut altogether?
In terms of busier times when the need to take the left turn out is impacted by the number of cars on Boston Post Road, that's going to be the safest option. I understand there's a balancing act trying to stop as much as we can cars and trucks from getting to Forest Road, but ultimately it is the safest means of egress from the site by providing that traffic light there. And I'm not going to be able to get a traffic light at the existing site driveway. So.
And are there any other ways to encourage or discourage tractor-trailer trucks to go out there, some kind of a light barrier so that it's at 12 feet so that they couldn't pass.
So we're at the minimum driveway width now for trucks entering and exiting. I can tell you this was purposely designed with small radii to try to physically prevent trucks from getting into the site off of Forest Road. That was the intent with why these radii are so tight and this driveway is so narrow. Other than some signage, and maybe Dick, I'll ask if you have any thoughts. I don't think we can go to a reduced, because we wouldn't be zoning compliant if we had a reduced size drive aisle over there.
And the drive aisles are designed not just for people visiting the site, but for emergency vehicles.
Yeah.
So, emergency access and fire access to the site is also a reason to have that aisle back there.
Well, we do have 3 other curb cuts, but... Okay, these are just questions. Go ahead, Mr. Sadie.
Thank you again. Dealing with the thorny issue, if we grant a site plan, special permit for the site plan, but the condition is that there be no access to Forest Road, does that make your plan not viable?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
And the reason being is because once it gets reviewed, although the state doesn't have jurisdiction on Forest Road, there always is a preference, and I'm not saying it's favorable to the neighbors, but there's always a preference by the state to have access when feasible to a side street that's also serviced by a light. That's what they're going to prefer. So while the commission may have an opinion one way, the state may have an opinion another way, and we haven't gotten through the full conversation with them yet. So it's possible in the state's opinion they may say we prefer the access on Forest Road over Boston Post Road. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle of reasonings why people, different parties want things done a specific way. But that's a long-winded answer to your question. But I think ultimately that access on Forest Road needs to stay.
Okay, and thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Sulkus, does it make sense, as we've done in the past, because of the application for zone change, lot adjustment, and site plan removal, that they be 3 separate motions?
Sure.
And Mr. Chair, I make a comment to the board members that might help us get along, but just
Okay.
a thought.
Thank you. So if you would just walk us through a delivery, one more time, a delivery to the grocery store.
Yep. So the delivered, and this is a full-size tractor trailer, 53-foot trailer.
Understood.
So they can, without crossing over the rightmost lane of traffic, and DOT is going to have to review this as well, and they'll make us modify geometry as needed. They can make the right turn in to the site from Boston Post Road, come through the drive aisle between the strip retail building and the grocery store, hang a left, and then back up into the loading dock. This has been reviewed at a high level by their operations team, and they feel there's enough space and it's viable for them to do that. Again, we are depicting them leaving through Forest Road to signalize access, but they can make a left over here down this driveway and take a left out. And we can certainly sign it to try to encourage that.
Right, and so that grade back there is how many feet below the average grade of the residential development?
So bear with me 1 second. Okay. There's so many contours. I'm just trying to figure out. So at the top of so where the loading dock is elevation 42, and You could see these contours are so tight, but hold on. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's about 30 feet lower. So in the top of a truck is about 13 feet high. So the top of the truck should sit a good 15 feet below.
So that will do some sound mitigation.
There's sound mitigation. I believe there's also a screen fence there as well.
And
Yes.
can we, as a condition, can we be just the best practice of sound mitigation on that screen?
Sure. And also, the dock is also recessed even further. So there's another it starts at grade, but there's another 4-foot wall down below when you get to the dock itself. So there's another mechanism for sound mitigation behind that as well.
Okay.
We wouldn't expect larger trailers to service the smaller retail building. On occasion they may, but normally we see smaller box truck type of vehicles, and they would be able to, we gave them a loading area here so they can kind of pull parallel to the building, try to avoid having to do any backup maneuvers to the greatest extent we can. They would be able to loop around, a smaller box truck would be able to pull to the loading area in the rear, pull a loop around the building, and then get back out as well. So in theory, they should be able to do their deliveries without any
And
backup
striping,
maneuvers.
you could do signage and striping.
Correct.
So that if somebody didn't really see the sign, they would see the striping would bring them at the truck. The only vehicle that would be behind the grocery store would be a delivery truck.
Would be a truck, correct.
So we want to direct them to the post road.
Understood.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board before we hear motions? Yeah. Nothing? Okay, so we will close the public hearing without objection, and I'd hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to make 3 separate motions. This is regarding 940, 1040, and 1052 Boston Post Road, which initially is a zone ICD. I move to approve as presented the petition of Luke Morrow, PE, for a zone change from ICD to CDD1. This is the first motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. In general, this is for all motions. This is, putting pretty much empty, vacant property back on the tax rolls, which is a good thing. And the project is good in many ways. Another restaurant, a lot of jobs at a grocery store. We just want to make sure that it doesn't disrupt the neighborhood. And we'll, throughout the motions, we'll try to make sure we can do as much as we can to that effect. But, so are there any other discussion on that motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In reference to this, and I did ask the question of City Planner Attorney, Mr. Sulkus, we do have discretion on this particular matter because it is changing, a zone change, and it's the indication that we have a certain number of votes that might not be what we've seen. I've gotten very mixed feelings about this. I have concern about the neighbors with the Forest Road. If we could be guaranteed that the trucks would come out onto Boston Post Road, it's a no-brainer. On the other hand, I think that the comments the chair made regarding giving a new property that has been unused for some number of years, different types of uses, I think is a good thing for the city of Milford. So I will be supporting this with mixed and conflicted feelings, but I will be supporting this.
Any other comments on motion number 1? Seeing none, I'd hear, if you would call the vote, please.
Mr. Agnesi?
With the motion.
Mr. Alling?
With the motion.
Mr. Anderson?
With the motion.
Mr. Fermender?
With the motion.
Mr. Collegian?
With the motion.
Mr. Machio?
With the motion.
Mr. Sadi?
With the motion.
Mr. Zahardis?
With the motion.
Chairman Quish?
I am also with the motion.
Mr. Chair? I probably missed it. Was there a second?
There was.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, regarding the same property, I make a motion to approve as presented by the same applicant, a special permit with a site plan review.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Just a quick question. So we want somewhere, David, to encourage solar, and we do want to somewhere talk about striping and signage and, you know, for no trucks on Forest Road. Is that going to be just a matter of the record that the applicant agreed that best efforts would be made, or?
It's in the record. As part of the motion, you could say, you know, the board, I would say you'd have to use the word encourage. You know, you can't necessarily require something like, you know, trucks can't use Forest Road. But, you know, based on the testimony of the applicant, you know, the board understands that they are going to, by their best efforts and in conjunction with OSTA approvals, which is you know, the Connecticut Department of Transportation, sign the property and add signage and pavement indicators to promote truck traffic to use the Boston Post Road entry and exits, something along those lines.
So we'll leave it as a matter of record is your recommendation? Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Agnesi?
With the motion.
Mr. Alling?
With the motion.
Mr. Anderson?
With a motion.
Mr. Furmender?
With the motion.
Mr. Collegian?
With the motion.
Mr. Machio?
With the motion.
Mr. Sadi?
With the motion.
Mr. Zaharides?
With the motion.
Chairman Quish?
I'm also with the motion.
Lastly, Chairman Quish, regarding, again, the same property with the same applicant, I move to approve as presented the lot line adjustment regarding map 77, block 832, parcel 1 and 2A, of which 990 Boston Post Road LLC and 1040 and 1052 Boston Road LLC are the owners of. I did mention it in the previous motions. I mentioned it now.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if you would, please call the vote.
Mr. Agnesi?
With the motion.
Mr. Alling?
With the motion.
Mr. Anderson?
With the motion.
Mr. Furmender?
With the motion.
Mr. Collegian?
With the motion.
Mr. Machio?
With the motion.
Mr. Sadi?
With the motion.
Mr. Zaharides?
With the motion.
Chairman Quish?
I'm also with the motion. Good luck with the project, and I hope that you take these comments seriously and that the neighbors are not adversely affected by this. Thank you so much. We have no old business liaison reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There was a educational opportunity for members of the board, some of which did so last Thursday. It's regarding the new Public Act 25-1 regarding housing in the state of Connecticut. That's all I have now. We have our regular meeting next week.
Thank you. Subcommittee reports. We do have an upcoming subcommittee meeting that we will have. It will either be a subcommittee meeting or a special meeting via Zoom regarding the CDD3. We will poll the members to see if they want to attend and make our decision. If we have a quorum, it will be a special meeting, and if not, it'll be a subcommittee meeting, and we will use this community economic recovery strategy. A lot of what we've been talking about here for the last few years is incorporated in this document. So that will be forthcoming. And that being said, next item is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion? Motion and second. Without objection. Approved. Chair's report, none. Staff report.
To piggyback on what Mr. Sadi was talking about, right before the meeting started, I did send you all an email of a summary of 25-1 that came from the I believe, the Connecticut Council of Governments. So you can sort of look at that. Last week, I went to a meeting of city planners, lawyers and legislators in Connecticut about the changes in the statute. And a lot of it's still actually being digested. There are some issues with the wording that the legislature used because it conflicts with other parts of statutes that they had previously approved. So the head legislative liaison for the Speaker of the House was there and just right up front said, probably during this legislative session there's going to be some clarifications and fixes to the legislation. And while all this is going on, Steve Harris, our zoning enforcement officer, is going through what we understand the changes are, and we're going to be coming up with a list of regulations for our zoning that we're going to have to change. There are things based on the legislation that was passed that we're going to need to address in our zoning book and make some changes to our zoning book.
Great, we can take that up when he's got the list.
Yeah, and he's got the list, right.
Mr. Chair, if I might, question through you to Mr. Sulkus. We did one zone change tonight, but how soon would we be seeing new zoning maps? If we have these changes, that's question one. But question two is, and again, this probably goes to both the chair and Mr. Sulkus, should we have, which we used to have, a regulation subcommittee to assist Mr. Harris in this endeavor, just to do as a large group?
Yeah, it'll either be, again, a regulation subcommittee meeting or a special meeting if everybody wants to come in or if we have a quorum. So that'll be addressed at that type of meeting.
Thank you.
And to answer your question about the mapping, we have a very good GIS person in the city, and he would probably be able to make that change in a day or two, and it could be up on the website within a day or two, assuming he's not on vacation. But he's very good. He's very good and very fast.
Okay, without objection, we're adjourned.
Mr. Can you reopen the meeting?
Sure, anything for you.
Thank you. It just occurred to me that you should have a date of the effective date for the zone change. Okay, so give me 2 seconds and I'll propose the date, and if you can just vote on that to add to the record. And I apologize for that. I should have caught that earlier.
Okay.
Have it be effective February 20th.
Okay, without objection, so moved.
Thank you.